and the wonders of modern technology, I can still come to the show. Although it's a bit noisy around about me, I've got my earbuds in, and it's actually better with this because I can hear myself speaking. And before I was shouting, and you know I'm not a shouty type of person.
No, you're not.
No, you're not, Peter.
Okay.
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 Right.
Right.
I can
I can
hear everything.
hear everything twice.
Yeah. Peter,
Yeah.
can you switch
Peter,
your
can you switch your
microphone off when you're not
microphone off
speaking?
when you're not speaking?
Right. Okay. I think we've sorted it now. So that's all you need to do, Peter. When you want to speak, just put your microphone on, and we'll be quiet, and everything will work. But other than that, welcome to the show. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 318 from Devisers, from Solihull, and from that there London. And I don't need that because you can hear me. Okay, where are we? And if you want to speak, Pete, just switch your microphone off. We'll be quiet at any point during this.
You know the problem, don't you? It's that Microsoft poster behind him.
That's advertising. How much are they paying you, Peter? It keeps changing. Okay. This is going to be an interesting show. Hopefully. Things are not going directly according to plan because when Peter speaks,
all hell lets loose.
Well, no, not that. But,
you can hear the 1,000 other people in the background.
Yeah.
And him twice.
All right. So if you're watching us live on Facebook, YouTube, or LinkedIn, good morning. This is Blabbing for Britain, episode 318, where we do a weekly news review and just generally catch up and have a chat about what's going on around us. Okay. Now, a lady arrived in the hotel and by her husband and daughter after 6 years in prison in Iran. And I think you have to be grateful for the fact that she's actually here. But do you think it took too long, Peter? Is Peter moving?
No. He appears to be frosted. It took £398 million to release her.
All right. So let's just hide Peter for a moment. Let's just rewind on this story. The Shah of Iran purchased $150 million worth of British tanks in
It was more than that.
250 million.
398 million.
No. Right. Okay. Sorry.
Oh, are you taking it in segments? Sorry.
No, the original amount, and we're now paying it back plus interest. Yeah. So we're paying 52 years of interest on a debt because the British government took money for delivering tanks. The Shah was overthrown and the tanks were never delivered. And we've been sitting in that situation for the last 50 years. And I'm just looking for her name, which is Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe was basically taken hostage, John.
Yeah, along with 2 other people.
Yeah, and kept in jail for 6 years. So, but I hope
she wasn't in jail for all 6 years.
No,
the last 12 months she's been on house arrest at her parents' home. But nonetheless, it should never have really happened.
That's where we agree, John. That's definitely where we agree. First of all,
to blame. That's a hard one, really, isn't it?
Well, there've been so many ups and downs throughout the saga. Peter's back. Peter's coming back. Yeah, definitely Peter's back. I've got an echo now.
I can't hear an echo.
Right, can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
I can hear you.
I'm sorry, I can't get. I've had to take all the things away. It's open. Your speech is
Yeah.
open.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Can you get an echo?
We can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
But I've got an
Is
echo.
that
I've got an
okay?
echo when you speak.
It must be this Samsung tab that John recommended.
It's not
I don't
Sam.
think it's.
I don't think it's. I don't think.
No, this
No, this food.
I don't think
I
the
don't think
building you're in help.
you're in help.
There's a big
It's
metal
a big
box.
metal box.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go off and I'm going to try another Wi-Fi that's free. Okay.
Okay.
And see
Okay.
if it's a Wi-Fi. I'll
Right,
come
so
back.
Right, so
Peter is travelling about
Peter
the
is travelling
exhibition.
about the exhibition.
He will be in a minute.
It will be in a minute.
Kick him
Okay.
off or something.
Okay.
We've got an echo until
We've got an
Peter
echo until Peter
closes the program.
closes the program.
Okay, I'm going to
Okay, I'm going to take.
drastic action.
Well, he did ask you to remove him, so
Well, I couldn't hear that above the echoes.
the picture was quite good, though, wasn't it?
Our picture was good. Sound was good. So he definitely got a good signal. I can't understand why there should be feedback, John.
I don't know, but he's using this really cheap tablet that we've both bought,
Okay.
and I cannot believe the performance of £198 tablet, and Peter paid even less. He only paid 186 for it.
Right.
And the screen is stunning. I mean, if it goes wrong, I've no idea what we'll do, but at that price, it's probably disposable, isn't it?
Oh yeah. He may be better if he comes in on his phone. We don't know.
Well, I suspect is in an exhibition hall, which is a big tin box, very much like the NEC's lots of big tin boxes. So I suspect that does not help.
Indeed. So, on behalf of Blabbing for Britain, we say welcome home, Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe. And right, okay, let's go to United Arab Emirates, shall we? There is a situation. I mean, obviously, the war continues. Well, we call it a war between Russia and Ukraine, where Russia invaded Ukraine, and the Russians are still bombing. I mean, they're bombing every day, and they're bombing civilian targets and trying to batter the Ukrainian people into submission. And I can't actually see that happening. Can you, John?
Sorry. I lost the picture for a moment. I don't know what happened.
Right. Okay.
And therefore couldn't hear you either. But I'm here.
You could. I can say it. I'll say it all again. Okay, we're still in a situation where Russia are bombing civilian targets in the Ukraine in an attempt to make the Ukrainian government, on behalf of the people, actually submit. And President Zelensky, he's being supported by troops who are actually now counterattacking the Russians. So it's in parallel to that, you've got peace talks, which the Russians say are going rather well, and Mr. Zelensky says that things may be happening. I mean, we can only hope for peace as soon as possible because innocent civilians are being killed. Yeah,
it's a terrible thing. I'm not sure, though. Whatever happens, there's got to be some way for the man in charge of Russia to save face. Because it ain't gone the way he thought it would. Yeah.
there's a group of people in Russia who want things to go back to pre-1992 and the fall of the wall, and they want the Russian USSR back. And the rest of the world is saying no, and Ukraine is the battleground for it.
Yeah.
I mean, Ukraine, they've already agreed that they will not, well, everybody's agreed they will never join NATO. When I say never, I mean not in the short term. And they've almost agreed that what are Russian enclaves within Ukraine should come under the control of Russia. Yeah, which
is the two right in the south east corner.
Well, the Crimea is Russian, and that's in the south, and there's two other areas.
Yeah, which are up to the right if you're looking at Crimea. Yeah, which has had civil war effectively in those two areas for the last 8 or 9 years.
Yeah, since 2014, I think. Peter, we're talking about Ukraine.
Yes.
Echoes back.
Oh, I give up, guys.
No,
I'll
you
listen to you.
you say what you want to say about Ukraine, and we'll keep quiet, and that'll work.
Right, where am I? Yeah, so you're on about Ukraine just now, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you know what? I think President Putin, in a way, is going to get his own way, because he's went as far as he's gone, and each side will have to give something.
Mm-hmm.
They will say, okay, we're not going to be part of NATO. Fine. Now give us our land back. Neat. You're not getting it back. And you're still not joining NATO. End of discussion. Now, there lies the problem, as far as I'm concerned. Because he's not going to take territory back. And he'll do it another place. He'll do it elsewhere. And he just knows there. Is Joe Biden, is he still living? Is he there? Is he still the president?
He is still
and
the
that's
president,
the problem.
and they've been putting sanctions in place.
Yeah.
And supplying arms.
Yeah.
I mean, Britain has played its part by providing missiles, Peter.
Yeah, and they're working. They're working very well. Having been a tank soldier, I wouldn't like to be a Russian tank soldier at this point in time. That's for sure.
No.
Because it looks as though they're setting targets, but it's really waking the West up. My regiment were tank soldiers, and they put them onto vehicles that have got no cover whatsoever, to be light cavalry that go ahead and look like scouts. They took a chieftain tanks away from this. I've got a feeling we'll be getting the Challenger tanks. I reckon we'll be getting Challenger tanks back, or they may have to buy tanks from another country. But they've realised now that you need troops on the ground. You really need troops on the ground. That includes tanks. We've let capacity go down. It's like a boxer who thinks he can still box, but he doesn't do the training for it anymore.
Yeah.
We've cut ourselves too far, and so is the German government. They've wakened up too.
Yeah, sorry. I just going to come on to the German government. Since the end of World War II, the German government has kept a very low profile as far as having an army and armaments is concerned. Decision was taken 2 days ago, which will make Germany military spending the 3rd highest in the world. So what has happened, as Peter has said, is that it's made Germany wake up, Peter.
And you're closely associated. I mean, you're closer. I don't know if you want to answer this, but you have a German, well, British person, really. But you know people in Germany. That's another. What are they saying about it?
But basically, I don't know.
I don't know. We're not.
I can find out this weekend. I can find out in person in 4 weeks' time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to go to Berlin in May. What a carry on! I've had COVID, and somewhere it says you have to get a covering letter. I phoned the doctor. He says we don't do covering letters. I eventually got a good girl at the Scottish feedback. It is. This is feedback, and she goes, "No, we don't do it." I says, "How?" I says, Can I show up as positive within 90 days?" She goes, "Yes." I says, "What if I turn up in Germany and they go, Peter Stewart, zap, verboten, off you go home again, thank you." What's the score?
I think as far as I know, I think the score is that if you've got your vaccination passport, that's it. Yeah. I don't think you also have to prove that you've had it. It's whether you've been vaccinated against it. I stand to be corrected because these things are changing every day, Peter. So as I say, we're going in April and we're hoping to go straight through, apart from at the moment having to have a test before we go into Holland. Yeah. Nothing in Germany, nothing in England, but a test possibly in Holland, or that could change before we go in April.
It currently says on the government website that you must have proof of vaccination or a negative COVID-19 test taken immediately before entry. That's to Germany.
Yeah.
Right, so that's a problem for me because although I've had COVID, I could still prove positive.
But you've been vaccinated, so you just need your vaccination proof.
Yeah, I've got my vaccinations, but the good thing
you need to get into Germany.
I'll put my finger like that when I want to speak, okay? I don't mind you muting me. I know it feels you get embarrassed muting people, but I don't mind. Now, the problem we've got is if I go to Germany, right, and I take a test, I could still prove positive. And I've got no recovery letter. Nobody is giving me a recovery letter.
But why do you need to take a test, Peter?
You don't need to take a test to go to Germany.
You just need vaccination proof.
Yeah.
You only need a test if you haven't got vaccination.
Okay. This is getting complicated.
Yeah.
Right, okay, where should we go next? Joe, have you bought anything this week? Peter, have you bought anything? All right, Peter, what have you bought this week?
No, he wants to go back to Ukraine a minute. He must have something to say. Back to John.
Yeah, there's been an announcement while we've been on air that the general commanding the troops in Mariupol, the place that's fully captured and virtually destroyed,
Mariupol
has been killed.
Oh. That's the Russian.
Yeah, the Russian general has been killed.
That makes the fifth Russian general.
Well, they say he's the fourth.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Right.
And he represents, fourth Russian general. I can't pronounce his name. Oleg Mityayev. Yeah. And he's been killed by something called the Azov Regiment. I don't know whether that has any meaning or not, whether it's some specialist or something, but that was announced at 8 minutes past 10.
Okay.
Okay, the Azov Regiment haven't very got a good name for themselves. Okay, they're considered right wing. Some people call them NAZI.
Yeah.
But what they've obviously done, and it's a great way. If I was a general, I would be commanding the troops from Moscow now. I'm not, because they're all targeted. What a great way. Cut the head off the snake. Bang! Oh my God. Commander's dead. What will we do? He's dead. Great. That's a real good. And that's a selective warfare. There'll be hit squads out there. And that's great. And I think someone's trained them to do that.
Oh yeah, undoubtedly. I mean,
Okay.
ammunition.
Undoubtedly.
Armaments are being supplied, training's being supplied.
Training's being supplied.
I just looked it up. It says they're a right wing
It says
regiment.
they're a right.
Yeah. Okay. Right now, I did a program on Tuesday, which is how can we help the Ukrainian people, and we can practically help them. Etsy have put up a page of Ukrainian art. Okay, so it's Ukrainian artists who put their stores on Etsy, and you can now buy artworks. And I think this is a marvelous way of actually doing it, because effectively what you're doing is you're paying money to somebody who's actually in Ukraine. They will spend it in the shops or give it to charity. And it is the fastest, most effective way. There is no commission at all from anybody. There are no charity charges at all. The money is going directly to the artists, and you've got a free choice of the artworks that you buy. Now, the one I'm showing you at the moment by Oksana, it cost me £6.72 plus VAT, of course. And it's basically, when you buy the artwork, it's for your own personal use. But I spoke to Oksana. I said, can I use that artwork in my broadcast? So I've been promoting it everywhere that I could. And we can do a little bit. The second thing that we can do, and this is going back to something Angelica told me about, is that we can go on holiday in Ukraine now, and we can actually book an Airbnb. Airbnb are not charging commission again, and we can go and stay in Kiev, say for the next couple of days. We pay the rental for the property, so 2 days at £16, £32. £32 goes direct to the host. The host then gives it to charity in the Ukraine, again bypassing everything, and the money's going directly into the economy. Peter. Well, Peter's drinking his coffee. Peter's back again.
Okay, right. So that, yes, I did see that. All I've been doing is my bit. You've probably seen that. I've been putting out links to what you can do for Ukraine. I've changed my profile picture with a Ukraine bit on it. So I just can do a little bit, and I've actually paid some money to one of the banners that's on Be Live. I've done that as well.
Yeah.
And John, I was speaking to the engineer yesterday, one of the Be Live engineers, and I was asking if he was okay in that, and I says, "You still in Kyiv?" And he goes, "No, we've moved out to Western Ukraine. So hopefully they're in a safer area." Now, what I would like to talk to you about now is this. So that 2 people have got released by the Iranians.
We've already done this.
Have we? Yeah, but this,
Let's carry on.
let me talk about the chieftain tanks. When I was a young soldier training, the training area I was in, the Iranian troops used to come over to train in chieftain tanks. Their country paid a lot of money up front, that £360 million or something, for the chieftain tanks. Okay? However, we took the money and we never gave them the tanks due to the regime change. Now, if you give somebody £360 million and they says you're not getting the tanks, would you want your money back?
I think so. Oh, it's our turn. Just a minute. Right. Okay. Yes, I think we'd want the money back. Definitely.
See, now, Peter thinks it's 360 million. You thought it was a completely different figure. I think the bottom line is we actually don't know everything, do we? That's the reality of things.
No, I mean, all I know is it was the original sum paid in 1970 had interest on it over 50 years, and that added up to quite a bit. But whatever the sum, I do feel that action could have been taken sooner, Peter.
It's just a political game, but here's the thing. He's probably went over and said, look, we'll give you this money back, but there are conditions with it. And it would look good on you, Ayatollah man. If you were seen to be letting these people go now, we'll give you the money as long as it's spent. It's got to be for humanitarian ways that they get the money back, something like that. And if you do that, there's a good possibility we can become friends in a way, because we need some oil from you, and it'll make your country prosperous. That's what I'm thinking.
Well, the other comments say that it's because doing this is the first step on getting sanctions removed.
Yeah. Okay. Now, our Prime Minister is currently in the UAE, and he's negotiating, because we want to lower our dependence on Russia. He's negotiating for oil. Peter.
Yeah, sorry guys. Yeah, China's not done much at the moment, right? So Boris will say, now we could take resources from you, China, and he's talked to the Arabs. We could take resources from you, and the people are saying, but they just executed 81 people. America executes people. They just do it in a different way. They don't behead them.
Yeah, but they've only done 10 in the last 2 months, and only in 2 states. Yeah, these did 81 in a day. Not really terrible, is it? I'm certainly not supporting the death penalty anywhere.
I agree with you on that.
And even I don't like the death penalty, because I've read about too many people that are innocent. And what breaks my heart in America, especially, when I see black people who have been framed for a murder or something, or a rape, and have been spent all their life, even a guy in his 80s, to be released because it was fabricated. And now we've got the evidence. What kind of justice is that? Now, in the past, they would have been executed if the state hadn't stopped it. So you know what I'm like, but I don't believe in it, and that might shock you. I don't believe in it.
Jones.
I'm remaining to avoid echoes. Corinda asks where you are, Peter. Will you tell him?
Corinda, I'm in a place called London, mate. London. I'm at the Excel Centre in London. Do you know it?
I think that Corinda has been there quite a few times, because he's in Staines, which is west of London. He's near to Heathrow Airport. I think he's been to exhibitions at the Excel over recent years. Can you give us a tour around, Peter, as you're mobile? Can you just give us a short walk around where you are? No, okay, fine. Just thought I'd ask. Right. A mobile reporter is stationary.
The reason I can't do it is I'm tucked in a corner with my big Costa cup. My bag's here, I'm plugged in, making sure I've got power, and so I just can't do it. I tried to do a walkabout yesterday with my phone to show the pest controllers, but unfortunately, no Wi-Fi inside it. So what I'm going to do is do some reporting for my industries, for other guys that can't make it, and I'm going to interview some of the stands. And one of the most important ones is the newest electric mouse catcher that tells you when it's got a camera in it too. Because one of the problems with these things goes off. All right, somebody may have kicked it. This camera can go. It looks inside. There's two mouse traps. Camera looks inside and says, "Hey Pete, you're okay." Sends you a picture. There's no trap. There's nothing in it. So there's no panic then. And it's just it. As I say, I'll be dead before it comes to fruition where it's really going. Years from now. But I'm going to tell you something I was rather proud of yesterday. Nod your head if you were to hear. Oh, you can't see your heads now. Anyway, I was rather proud. I was a supplier said to me, a lady, and she goes, "Peter, I know you're up in Aberdeen." She says, "If you were only down here, you would have had a big business because you're one of the most innovative pest controllers that I have ever seen, and you were way ahead of your time. And all the things I asked for years ago, like online training and video conferencing, have came to fruition. So I'm rather proud of that."
Good.
To you.
Good.
That was said with my £1 glasses from Pound Stretcher.
Yeah.
Right.
So you basically you've seen a prototype.
Yeah, I'll come back. Yeah, I've been looking at it for years because I want to set up a service with this. Now, some of them have been too fancy. They have Wi-Fi problems. They have data problems. But have you ever heard of LoRa system? It's a Wi-Fi. So what they've got, I'll give you some information. So what they do is they've got their own gateway and it uses a data SIM, and it's like a router. It's your own router. You plug it into the customer place, a factory or that, and you can get repeater routers, and you put them in, and it gives a local network and all the bait points go back to the router, and then that router using a data 5G 4G data sends the information to our app. Any questions?
That's how gas and electric smart meters work.
You're okay now, John.
Oh, I was going to say that's how gas and electric smart meters work. One of them connects to the cellular, and then the gas and electric meters talk to each other via their own local network.
The meters can talk to each other.
Yeah. So my electric meter is connected to the cellular network, and the gas meter can talk. The bolt-on units onto both meters can talk to each other via their own little network, wireless network. Brilliant. And that's how, when you have a smart meter thing that plugs in and you can see the monitor, that's on the same little network.
All clever stuff. When Peter sticks his finger up, I'm finger up.
So, hope you don't mind.
I thought it was his nose.
No. So that's the way things are going. It's all down to the data in your area. But they would say if you get any, we will come up and check it out for you. So what's the other? There's a new type of a rat trap that the guy has sold out. It's a special rat trap. That was something else I was speaking of before that. I was something about that. Well, Bayer, you know Bayer, don't you? The German firm. They've come out with a new one as well. Yeah, they've come out with the new. They've got a new rat and mouse system using the same thing, using the Lola. So I'm gonna wait to look at more into that as well, and plus obviously the basic traps that we have too, because we've even got traps. Each trap individually has actually got their own SIM in them. Okay, and the Germans have got a double trap with a box in it. When it's clicked, there's a magnet, sends a signal to its local router using Lola, and sends us a message and an email to let us know. And that's the sort of technology that's going to come in the future. Remember, I did speak about this, so it's quite fascinating to learn that. Oh, but the other thing I learned, John, you'll be interested in this, was I made sure I sat down with the Google Guaranteed Business Seminar, right? And I found out, say you were in a village, right? And there wasn't much in that area, and you were the only pest controller, right? You'd think that would be great, but it's not. Because if you pay the minimum of £50, they won't charge you unless they use it, because it's paid in if you're used, it will charge you if it's not used. But what they will not do is, if there's not another pest controller in the area, guess what they won't do? They won't put you up either until there's competition bidding for the money. Is that interesting?
I suppose this is related to the fact that when you use Google, the fee you're charged is what the second person is prepared to pay, not what you're prepared to pay.
Right. Just a note from Corinda, Peter, he's going to be in Excel in April for a broadcasting event and be live on Amazon using his OBSBot Tiny. Okay. Great place to take it. Okay, the picture.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, the picture that we're showing on the right-hand side, Peter, the second picture we're showing on the right-hand side is from a Ukrainian artist, Oksana. And if you go to Etsy and you type in Ukrainian art, you can buy your own painting, which you can use wherever you want, on greetings cards, anything personal. And we've got special permission to actually show it in a live broadcast. So go and support Ukraine and do it on Etsy and buy Ukrainian art, Peter.
Are you still on your black? I have to tell you, the picture's really great. It wasn't until you showed.
Okay.
Right, so I came down by sleeper, and do you know what got me being here? I love London, and I woke up this morning to the sound of London waking up, and I looked out. I'm facing over the river, the Thames, and I'm looking and I watched London. It was quite early morning, a real early morning. I looked out and I just seen some bodies going to the train station. I seen the lights going on across from all the houses and hotels, and I just seen it waking up. And I said, where does everybody come from? Where do they all live? And then the tubes were, I put out a post yesterday. I said, went on the tube, and it was busy, and I put my hand forward and I said to three ladies, it was obviously a mum and their daughter's younger daughter, not young, but I said, after you ladies. They kind of looked at me and surprised. And then the next thing, I was battered in the back, or all the people pushing me in. It was great. I love it. I love this city. I really do.
Yeah, I love London too. I mean, we were there in January, and it is a brilliant place to visit. I don't think I could actually live there. I think the pace of life in London is too fast. When people start running down the escalators, that sort of puts it. That sort of is London. It is so fast and so furious, Peter.
I don't like it.
I said to Sheila, you could die here and nobody would care. They wouldn't care. You know, you just drop down there and say, sorry, I'm late for my appointment. Bye bye. It's just such a fast pace of life, you know. Yeah.
Stephen's just posted to say he's got COVID.
Oh, okay.
It's posted in our Facebook chat.
All right. Okay. Again? No, has he had it before?
No, I don't think he had it before, no.
No.
I think he hid from everybody.
Yeah, we've got our rates in devices tripled last week. I don't know what the base was, but certainly COVID hasn't gone away, but we are seemingly able to live with it because Peter's able to travel all the way from Aberdeen down to that London, and yeah. Were people wearing masks on the train, Peter?
Well, you took the words out of you took the words out of my mouth there, because Sadiq Khan, right? I call him Sadiq can't. I can't do anything, right? Anyway, the whole of London, when they're on the underground and their buses are meant to have masks on, it was spot the mask. There was hardly anybody wearing them. So it wasn't what, and we were so, at one point we were jam-packed in that tube. And I was tucked in a corner, and it's funny, you know how everybody just put their head in a tube. I shouted out, "Oi, tell me when it's Waterloo Station, please, I can't see anything."
And did the Peter?
Yeah, a woman says, we'll help you, mate. She says, we'll help you, mate, we're going there too. The Scottish voice above everything. Shout out in the crowd. It's been great. I do enjoy travelling. I really do enjoy travelling. But I hope to get a sleep. I'm going to walk around here. I'm going to get myself tired out tonight, so I go on that train and I put on my pajamas. And the reason I wear pajamas in case there's a train crash. And
you don't want me.
I'm not running about with my pants. I'm not running about my pants in the railway line. And so basically, I'm going to put my pajamas on and hopefully get a good sleep on the train home. You know, the reason I wear it, I know somebody that was on a fire and they had to get out of the room in the hotel, but just slept without clothes on. And he says, "Peter, always wear pajamas in a hotel." He was naked. Yeah.
Talking of trains, did you see that the report was released this week into the HST crash near Aberdeen, with some interesting facts about the bit that collapsed had actually been reinforced only a couple of years before the accident. It also contains some more photos that we never saw at the time of the showing things that were quite horrific, really, and how collapsed the driver's area was. You mentioned that they've moved out of Kiev, There are other software products that I've got that have been affected by the war. I have a product called Kojif, which is colorizes photos. You can take a black and white photo, and with some AI technology, they're based in Odessa. They're desperately trying to move away because, you know, it's now started to being shelled around there from the sea. And so they're not doing any support at the moment. And I've got a posting product for social media that's disappeared. I understand it's disappeared. It's not Ukraine based, but it's disappeared because it's funded by an oligarch, and it's subject to sanctions. So it's been turned off, which is a bit of an inconvenience. But there are plenty of other toys to play with that can take its place.
So, do you think people actually boycott Russian software?
I don't know. I've not really had any Russian software. This is I think this is sanctioned because it's monetarily funded by an oligarch because it's based in California. I'm not naming names because I don't want to get caught up of accusing it of something that isn't, because there is no formal statement as to why it's disappeared.
At the moment, it's just coincidence.
No, I think it's because it is owned by somebody who's been sanctioned, and therefore Amazon have taken it off their servers.
All right. Okay, now. Russians in their millions have been turning to VPNs, Peter.
Ah, right. No, one lady I felt sad for, a Russian lady, right? She made all her money on Instagram, showing her life. I think she became very rich with it, or that was her living. That poor woman has been shut down. And the problem is, there's people suffer because of the consequences of our government. She said she's ruined now. She was crying on her last post, and it just shows you how and this is going to happen once the Russians find out what's happening. They're going to turn on Putin when all the shops are shut. All the high boutiques are shut. There's no food seemingly. The McDonald's are gone. They're going to say, wait a minute, that was a taste of the West. You're telling us we're not getting that anymore. Aye, that will be right. You get that McDonald's, but I will get you put out of office. We'll kill you. What do you think?
I think, Peter, that's a wide contrast between going to McDonald's and actually being taken in by the Russian security forces. I think, though, that the Russian people are, as I said, using VPNs to actually use websites that have been blocked by Russia themselves. And the information will filter out, and they're going to walk around town and they're going to see that shops have disappeared and they're no longer, they are an international pariah, and they're not going to benefit. Now, the biggest problem that we have is that, coming back to energy for a moment, is that we need to stop using Russian energy. And that's going to be a long-term thing. I mean, the Germans have said that by the end of the year, they can stop using they can stop using gas and oil, but I think that they're tied in for something else, aren't they? The Germans are tied to the Russian economy, and the Russian economy gets 40% of its income from oil and coal and gas.
Yeah. Has this changed? I don't know. I know you're a liberal thinking man, you know, and has it changed your view on fracking? Should we be self-sufficient?
I think what's happening is that people are deciding that being able to survive on your own is preferable, and that the long-term plan of every country will be to be energy sufficient. and not be reliant on any third parties. And this is a bigger problem for Germany. It's not so big a problem for us. And I think what will happen is that practicalities will overtake the greening of the country. Yeah, the being practical, keeping people warm in winter and with food is going to be more important than whether we frack or not frack. John?
I've always been in favour of having a bash at fracking and finding out whether it will work or not. But the people of Lancashire don't like the concept. I think that there's a possibility, isn't there, Peter, that this might bring some life back to Aberdeen, because the scale of economies are changing, and it might mean that pumping North Sea oil and pumping North Sea gas becomes economic again when it became uneconomic in the recent past.
Right, that's quite interesting. Do you know what was in our local newspaper the other day? Oil companies crying, tears hitting the floor because they can't get anybody to work for them, and there's nobody to train the new guys. Now, what happened initially in our oil industry, Aberdeen was full of American Texans and coming over and showing us what to do. And then they left because they showed the Aberdonians what to do. And you know where there's a big area of Aberdonians? Do you know where they are now? They're in Perth, Australia.
Oh,
They're
wow.
working down there now. And nobody is wanting to work with them anymore. My friend was a quality assurance engineer in Aberdeen. And I said to him, would you go back? He says, I'd be very reluctant to go back. Now, what it means is they are going to have to pay mega bucks to get people to work for them, because they were stabbed in the back. And a lot of them who've been in it for years, this is no, I'm happy with my lifestyle now. Some of them have opened up landscaping businesses, and some of them have retired, and they didn't train youngsters, and that was the problem. And now the barrel of oil is quite high, and they're suffering because of it, you know? And people remembered how they were just cut out of the system when they were no longer required. There's a lot of bitter people in my city. Bitter. Back to you.
John, does that answer your question?
Yeah, but it's how do I say it? It's something that we might just have to overcome, however much it costs. Yeah, there is still oil and gas on our doorstep at the end of the day. Incidentally, just a question for you. How many UK gallons are there in a barrel of oil? Somebody asked me yesterday.
No idea.
Pete? It's 34.92.
Right.
UK gallons in a barrel of oil.
Okay. Now, you know that I like AppSumo. In fact, I like AppSumo rather a lot. What I'm going to do is share something now. So let me go to a screen share. Let me go to a Chrome tab, because this is on AppSumo at the moment. It really is too good to miss.
Have you seen the massive changes in their terms?
Yes, I've heard arguments going left, right, and centre.
Well, I've got 2 products from AppSumo, so it doesn't really hurt me. And both of those are well past the return date.
Right. Okay. Anyway, this is a wonderful new product that I found, and I'm going to attempt to explain it to you. And the attempt will start now. Just give me a second. The program is called Tab Extend, TAB Extend. It is an extension, and basically we know that we bookmark pages. We're on Google Chrome and we bookmark a page and we think, I'll go back to that later, and you never ever do. You forget. and trying to search bookmarks is a pain in the. Okay, now with this software, Tab Extend, this is $59 for a lifetime deal. And this is, well, it's just so elegant. As you can see, I've set up all my broadcasting sites there. I've set up, just a minute. Sorry, hang on, just a second. Start again, shall I? Okay, yeah, I'm here. I set up my broadcasting sites. I've also set up, I'm in the throes of setting up everything that I sell on Amazon. And it means that I can actually organize every single browser's website I've ever visited. And for 15, it's just done so well, John. This is a GUI to wonder at. You know, it's one of these where you think, I wish I'd designed that.
So is this a Chrome extension then?
It's a Chrome extension, but basically it opens up a Chrome page. So you actually drive it through the Chrome page, but every time you open a new tab, this appears before you type in the URL you want. And what I'm doing is I'm going to get every single product I sell on Amazon, every website that I use in broadcasting, and then every website that I use in research, and it'll all be on the one page, and I can just go to it. Yeah.
Right. Oh, that sounds good.
And what's more, okay, this is just a quick tour. You can actually add notes. You can do a to-do list. You can change the color, which is not a big thing. You can put emoticons in there, and you can copy to the clipboard. But I think I just for the design part of this, I just love the way that it's actually designed. Yeah. Anyway, that's me. That's my purchase of the week. I'm going to hide that now. If you have any questions, please ask. Okay, Peter, hang on. I pressed the wrong button, Peter. You're still there.
I was asked earlier on what gadget I bought.
You
right?
were?
You were?
And it's this. Oh. Here. So John gave me this. He found this out. £16. Okay? And this can charge a phone 7 times. And it's been a godsend. Last night I was walking in central London, in my pocket, phone next to it, and the phone has been fully charged. What a bargain it was. Because that would have been 70 quid or something long ago. And that is 28,500 amp hours, or whatever you call it. And cracking by. Thanks, John.
Has it got a switch on it, Peter?
I'm trying my best here, just a sec.
No, John, but what it does, this button here, when it's charging, it charges its different colours to see what's, like for instance, flashing blue is 75%. Then when it's solid white, you know it's charged. Now, when you use it, it's also got a colour code to see how much it's being used as well. And you know it's working, you know the colour it's on, and it's better than, it's actually quite good, so there's no problem with that. It's better than the other one. I'm going to give the other one to Sheila, half price.
Oh dear.
Typical,
right, John, it's over to you.
Typical Scotsman, isn't it? Short arms and deep pockets.
Oh, wait a minute. Peter coming back.
Okay, just a quick announcement. Thanks for following that other Facebook page I give you. Okay, I've had so much fun. People have been writing to me, Peter, you've been hacked. I says, no, I haven't. It's me. I says, I can't go into too explanation, but I'm going to have to find a quick way of inviting over 500 friends to it. I'll leave that just now, but that's what I want to do. Right. And the other one's still open, but it's funny folk and saying you're hacked. Back to you, John. Thank you.
Did you buy the handlebars grip? The one that allows you to turn your phone in different directions, etc.
Yes, but it wasn't good. So I got your one. I haven't tried it yet, but it'll extend, you know. So thank you for that as well.
Okay, well, it's goodbye from him in London. Next time we speak to him, he'll be back in Scotland. It's goodbye from my friend in Wiltshire. And it's goodbye from me in Solihull in the West Midlands.
Safe journey, Peter. Bye.